Something happened to me that totally took me by surprise when going back to Europe. After spending a long time in Cape Verde, I got an appreciation for something I'd become complacent to. It was one of life's basics. And it started right here on this TAP Airlines flight. It was none other than food, man. I did not expect a paid meal on this flight, and here is all sorts of goodies, including hot mashed potatoes and beef. Then while waiting for my connecting flight, I went through the Lisbon airport's food court. I was literally drooling at all the food choices, and for some reason, I reasoned for a classic signature burger from Mickey D. I had not seen so much food in so many varieties in months. Gooey Pizza Hut, KFC, huge sandwiches, sushi, and this good old friend. It has been nearly a year since I returned to the homeland. I went to see my godmother Marina, who was in a hospital with my cousin Roman. And later, he invited me to dinner.
You are with cousin Roman, he's gonna feed me. And he's gonna feed me well. Cousin Roman.
Being a big fan of my adventures, Roman knew I'd be hungry for a decent meal. We've known each other since we were little kids.
Gazpacho andalou, association au Malais 2015. Un petit peu jeune, mais il commence déjà à être bon.
Now he's working in raising a young family, and I'm a globe-trotting sailor.
It's not a stumperot, but oh. This is the most awesome food. Veal filet mignon.
With a chanterelle mushroom sauce.
Chanterelle and mindalové are very difficult to find. Let's enjoy the meal.
Strawberry soup.
Cold strawberry soup for dessert. Am I in food heaven? Then, of course, I went to see my parents. And Mike thought I could use something tasty for breakfast.
Les œufs de la ferme. Fresh eggs. More food. And he's got fruit trees everywhere. This is Jean-Pierre. Cherry tree. Apple tree. Another apple tree. More apples. No.
Here again, I focused on food.
Prunes. Christian makes homemade honey, so more food for me to take back. Just so much food here. Okay, thank you, Christian. He's a sailor too on the lake.
And the subject continued.
Okay, so here we are with the parents.
Hello.
Mike and my mom.
Everything is fine.
And again, I'm eating more food. This is like food heaven to be here back in Europe and Switzerland. Okay, check this out.
I had the beef and distanced myself from seafood. I want meat and vegetables.
The family's here. Look at these guys. Aren't they beautiful?
I arrived just at the end of the Montreux Jazz Festival, and there I met Tessa, my granddaughter Eloise, and my son Miles. And here, of course, we had to get food. But just simple sausages, yet with an array of sauces to choose from. But we had promised Eloise we'd have her favorite for dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not seen such a pizza masterpiece in months. Eloise liked her cute present I brought from Cape Verde. Later we went for a stroll. It's the beginning of La Fête des Vignerons. And what is this? It's a Winemakers Festival. The area is known as Vevey, and it's home to some precious vineyards bathed in golden sun on the hills surrounding Lake Leman. This is also a unique festival that's been going on for centuries. And it's also a very rare one. But I'll explain that later. But first, more gastronomy with my parents.
More in the terms of food, we're now having Swiss seafood, which cannot be called seafood because it comes from a lake, so it's lake food. But it's fish. It's called filet de perche, perch fillets. They're really good, really, really good.
Mom really loved her present I brought back from Cape Verde, handmade by lovely Nigerian seamstress Peace, as well as Mike, who proudly wears a no stress t-shirt.
They're too cool, the parents. I love them. So here I am here in Vevey, Switzerland. This is the Fête des Vignerons, the Winemakers Festival. And this happens 5 times in a century. It's like every 20 or 22 years. I've been to 2 already, so it gives you an idea of my age. It's absolutely astonishing what they've done here. This little town just completely transforms here. And the idea is for the Fête de Vignerons, it's to honor those great winemakers of the region. And this has been going on since Roman times, like 2,000 years ago. They do a big spectacle, a big show, like a big opera, telling the story of the vine, and it's quite cool. And they've erected a giant arena in the middle of the Place du Marché, or the market square. And this is all temporary for 3 weeks, and then the place will go back to normal.
Yes, temporary. In some 20-odd years, they'll build another one. It's been erected to host a grand spectacle. And when us Swiss do things well, we really do things spectacularly well.
I'm going to walk around here and do a little special winded voyage on this incredible festival here, because I'm just blown away by it. This is really, really, really unique, and it's absolutely beautiful. And there's all these people in costumes walking in the streets that participate in the big show. It's like a big Olympics opening ceremony or something. I don't know. You can't really compare it to quite anything.
You can't. The spectacle is meant to honor wine and all aspects around its life and making. It began in Roman times. It's they who first planted the vines. The show features thousands of actors, dancers, singers, musicians, and special effects, performing almost every day for 3 weeks before 20,000 spectators each time. It's been in preparation for years.
So, anyways, let me take you around and show you what's happening around here. And maybe in 20 years you could find yourself here.
The little city has been transformed by its celebration. Streets are all pedestrian. All kinds of businesses have become wine bars just for the festival. And special police orders have given citizens permission to drink, party, and make noise into the night, every night. Extremely rare in quiet Switzerland. And here, friends meet who haven't seen each other in years, like my good friend Carlos and this Swiss guard.
This is my friend Alain from the Jazz Festival, and look at him, he's a son Suisse.
Now he's
one of the 100 Swiss. Attends, son Suisse, quoi.
Ouais.
One of the 100 soldiers. He's a badass man.
You! Thank you!
Two friends from my time working at the Montreux Jazz Festival. There is more about this celebration, but now it's time to visit another relative and more food.
So we're at my cousin's, Francois's house. She's was married to one of my parents' cousins. Anyways, it's a cousin. Anyways, you gotta see this house. It's the coolest little Swiss chalet with so many details and everything. And anyways, I'll let you see now. This is my cousin Francoise. She's so cool. She has the most beautiful house.
Being away makes you see things differently, with new appreciation.
My mother made these drapes. She used to make drapes. Oh, la vue que tu as, que tu prends ta douche.
This chalet has been in Francoise's family and is now her home. She renovated the downstairs for her, and the barn above is her son's business. He grows pot and sells legal CBD vape cigarettes. I told you she's cool. I just love all the antique knickknacks and detail, yet the house lacks no modern amenities. You just can't be too tall. It kind of reminds me of a boat. We were wondering how she manages in winter. Well, she's from these mountains and an expert skier, and has a small 4x4 Range Rover and friends with plows. She offers aperitif, but the main course was up higher in the mountains.
Okay, cheese fondue. Tomato flavored cheese fondue. Instead of bread, it's with potatoes. Now, you have to come to Switzerland, you have to have a fondue in a place like this in the mountains.
That's right, one of our national meals. Then comes homemade pie made with Swiss apricots and fresh whipped cream.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai bien mangé.
As well as liquored mountain blueberries. Almost tastes like a stumperot. We went to visit the wine festival. More local food and less local drinks.
Maman, qu'est-ce que tu bois?
Europe was under a tremendous heat wave. It was hotter here than Africa. Couldn't do wine now. We took a stroll around the festival before going to my son Miles's apartment. He invited us to watch the festival parade, which is opening the Fête de Vignerons celebration. They had a prized view and it was definitely more comfortable for Mom. The parade encapsulates the story of the spectacle. The story is about vine or grape. And the parade is more or less a chronology of the story. It begins here with a fanfare. It's celebration time. These represent the famed Swiss Guard who protect the Pope. These are the flags of the 26 cantons or states of the Swiss Confederacy. The Swiss are fiercely independent and have a proud reputation of defense against enemies of our country. And these are the local dignitaries who represent the authorities of the town and the festival. The Romans instituted the celebration to award workers for their work. Not every year, of course. It really took a more modern, organized form centuries later. These are some of the attractive young folk who will take over someday. Then a display of flags of all the small communities that make up the wine region of Vevey. The celebration comes to life with pagan symbols and imagery. It's about the elements that make or break the wine process. It starts with the birds who play their part. Here are the starlings, followed by sky and sun. And of course, the insects. These are the Four Seasons and Lucky Cards, and more Swiss Guards. And these are the trimmers who trim the vine stalks in the winter. Then there are all the little animals who live and thrive in the vineyards, followed by the enchanting leaf strippers. These women would trim the leaves of the vine. And even here in landlocked Switzerland, we have sailors and fishermen who line the shores of the vineyards. Summer is represented by the wedding celebration, where of course wine is a necessity. And these are the carts once used in the vineyards. Then everything culminates with the grand finale of the grandest Swiss pride, our mountain folks and their cows. They make the milk, that makes the cheese, with which we drink the wine. It's a beautiful story, no? This part had me and my mom in tears. These people and animals touch us to the core of who we are and where we come from. It's a long way from the ocean, which beckons me now, but I know who I am and where I come from. And now, it's about the journey of where I'm going.